and whoever. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things. That may be. Let's talk about sex. Greetings, empath. It is an early morning here, and I am saying we need to wake up and have this conversation. It is long overdue. Let's talk about how casual sex affects you. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette, and we're going to evolve through some antiquated and outdated ideas that we have about our sexual fluidity and freedom. Now, I support all of that, guys. I am nobody's prude whatsoever, but here's what's happened to me along my journey. Can we give a shout out to Ralph Smart? Can we get a hello there? I will not steal his catchphrase, that is his. Here we evolve together. That's mine, okay? So let's talk about this. We are permeated, saturated, and inundated with the hookup culture. It's the Drake culture. That's what I call it. I'm just saying you could do better. Marvin's Room energy. Tell me, have you heard that lately? Where there's a third party or an interloper, there's always multiples of three. And in the pandemic, we have seen a surge in polyamory. Let's talk about it. I think that all of us felt what met with our mortality decided it is better to be part of a three than to just be all by myself and it's just me. And I think that's what happened. I noticed an uptick in it regarding my clients, but I also noticed an uptick. Hey, Allie. Hey. I know. Well, my angels gave it to me. They woke me up in the middle of the night, girl. So I'm out here serving up this fresh plate. So glad that I'm not by myself, Allie. So, yes, we are in this whole situation where all of the rules are completely blurred. The people that did the Kinsey scale, which talks about our fluidity and our sexuality, would probably be delighted to see how incredibly free we have become. We have surpassed the summer of free love, and now we have zero boundaries. And this is where I take umbrage, okay? Oh my God, I've been getting hella downloads lately. I love it. Don't you love that, Allie, when our angels like pop out and then they pop back in? Yep, it happens all the time. So this is what my angels popped in with. We are wild AF. And y'all know my catchphrase, which is not mine, but it is T.I.'s Rubber Band Man, wild as a Taliban, 9 in my left, 45 in my other hand. We are going around and we are shooting our hopes and dreams up. We are shooting our future possibilities and we're shooting our real ideal and divine connections. I am not saying that you need to be some nun and hold out, but I am going to tell you and break down for you how casual sex absolutely weakens our energetic force field if you're an empath. If you're not intergalactic, intergalactic, then you shouldn't be here listening, okay? If you're just casually popping through and like, who's this crazy lady? And this doesn't resonate, click off now, boo. But if you stay, if you want to sit beside me for this message, you're going to learn something that will help you transmute energy and get into a proper alchemy and actually get to places of tantric sex and have real experiences with Kundalini rising. So you can have the shallow BS, right? And I will definitely read your comment here in a minute, Ali. I promise you, sweetie. You can have the shallow BS that the culture around us says that we can have, or you can have a real connection with a person. Now, does that mean that I'm eschewing or poo pooing all of these things? The things that I just talked about, the polyamory, all the other things. No, but it does mean, you know what I say, if you want to have the best bet, do not forget to properly vet. I just made that up. Okay, I don't know if I do. I always say that, but I do talk about vetting a lot. If you want to have the best bet, do not forget to properly vet. Listen, guys, because we are such sponges as empaths, we pick up other people's energy. There are people running around here with STDs, and I'm not talking about the sexual ones. The sexual ones, yes, that can bring you to your knees, but what can eradicate your soul and take a hold of you and grow mold and corrupt and decay you is a spiritually transmitted disease, which happens when you're running around sleeping with everybody. I did not think I was going to be the old lady like, get off my lawn, kids, with your condoms and your free sex. But that's not the issue. Use your condoms and enjoy your sex. But if you're an empath here, sex is best when we do what? Connect. That is when our sex is best. If you ever felt as you were going through high school or college or whenever your sexual life began, if you ever felt, God, this isn't for me. I'm not part of this like mind games or the hookup or all of the rest of it, where everybody else was like, I'm just fine and they could handle it. I remember counseling all kinds of friends that were hooking up with all kinds of guys and flip flopping and doing all the rest of it. And I was just kind of appalled. And it wasn't that I was so magical or that I wasn't sexual. It was that I energetically was like, God, that's a lot of energy to share, even though I didn't understand my gifting all the way back there. And that is the same for you, empath. When we try to partake in the hookup culture, the reason it doesn't work is because we are going in to assess and fix, usually, if we're not properly healed, a potential partner. So even if it's just casual and you think you can ride that out, let me tell you, let me give you a real threshold here. Even if it's just casual and you're not an empath, you've got about 2 to 3 good real months before you have physiological reactions to a sexual connection with somebody that's going to make you start to have feelings for them. That is scientifically proven, guys. Kinsey would be proud as well. That is not just my conjecture. Now, if you're an empath, you probably are bonding with someone much sooner, much faster. It feels more intense because you're actually in their energy field. Guys, we meld with people. That's why if you are in one of those un consensual or non-consensual third party situations, it can be very toxic for your soul, because if you are not, when someone's cheating or they're not being honest with you and you've been in that position, you're picking up the transference of energy from the other person, even though your partner may not be aware of how sensitive you are, empath, and what a sponge you are. And that's why a lot of us take our kind of like pride and kind of get our lives, because to save our lives. Now, here's the deal. You want to have sex still. You're a human. You live on this earth. Great. Got it. But you want connection, and you need connection. There's a thing called skin hunger. We don't touch. We don't interact anymore in the same way we used to, right? And with the pandemic, even more so. I have a video up here about that. But the truth is that we all desire, on some level, connection. So if you're an empath and you just can't have sex with them, the reason that I'm saying you just can't have sex with them is not to say that I'm impeding your free will. You absolutely can have sex with them, but it will cost you something emotionally. And there is no exception, empath. If you are sleeping with someone, even if it's the most casual of F buddy, F friend, you will get involved. And that's why I say vet the person thoroughly, so that if you're involved, you at least know what you're getting involved with. Try as you may not to let your loins just run away with you, because that can get us into more karmic soulmate connections, whereas negative and toxic lessons versus positive. You will have sex, but you know what they say, good things come to those who wait. So I want us to celebrate. Yes, I said celebrate. That was so corny. Yes, I want us to celebrate. Here's what I'm saying. And I know those of you that know me here, you're like, girl, you're married. That's easy for you to say. Da, 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 da. This is energetically, okay. This is spiritually. This is sexually. This is emotionally. Yes, it's titled, you can't just have sex with them, but connections of um, oh yes. You know what? I'm looking down, Allie. Pre-period, you are so right. It is so tempting. We get hungry. Okay, we become man eaters or women eaters, depending on who we are. It's a crazy thing that happens hormonally. And so it is tempting. I'm not saying that you're not gonna want to sleep with somebody. What I am saying is that sleeping with someone depletes us. So if you are doing it, do not delude yourself and think that you can have a casual hookup. If you're an empath, you can't have a casual hookup. You will get enmeshed, you will get emotionally involved. I want us all to have great sex because it is a part of our life that helps us to be and feel our best. It truly is an antidepressant, right? So I think it's healthy to have healthy sexual connections, but I want your connections to be connections where you feel good about the person. Even if you're not going to be with them for the rest of your life, I get it. Let's be realistic. But they can't just be like a scumball, because here's what happens. I've made other videos about this, but our cervix and our heart chakra are connected. So when you're getting a really great sex, or someone is creating orgasms or causing that to happen with you, creating it like they're drawing an orgasm. When someone is causing you to orgasm, bringing you to orgasm, and really connecting with you, it's literally opening. It's a massage on your heart chakra energetically. That's just the way it's set up. I don't know why they didn't teach us this in school. So we start to get attached to people that could be pure straight F boys, as a Safari, who is an F boy himself, straight F boys, right? Or F girls who have zero intention of connecting. But a good orgasm and serotonin and dopamine rushing makes us feel differently. And then we're the empath. So we're already connected with them right away. It could be the first time you sleep with them, and you're already in there like what is it? RDD2, R2D2. I'm saying that wrong. And it's like beep, 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 and you're like reconnecting wires, and you're hooking up new spark plugs, and you're doing flushes on their personality and their issues and their family pathology. First 3 times we have sex with someone empath, you know what it is. We're already assessing, we're all up in their biz, and we're connected. And here's the thing, it's wonderful if they were to just benefit from us and we could stop the portal. But because sex is a magical alchemical act, meaning it is alchemy, it is one of the most powerful rituals we have. People think we don't do rituals, and Christians are really funny about that. Like, no, 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 sex. That's why consummation's heavily talked about in the Bible. It's not that they just wanted everybody to be prude. It is to know that you will be attached to whomever you sleep with. All right, message I'm hearing, but what about the concubines in the Bible, Monette? They were sleeping with all of these men and whatever, yes. And that's why it was mayhem in the palace, because there was drama and high craziness and hormones and jealousies and all the rest of it. Message about polyamory. If you're doing it, guys, there are ways to do it properly. The ethical slut, if you are an empath here and that works for you, God bless you if that really works for you. But even in it, you will be challenged with our human nature based jealousies. So check out that book, The Ethical Slut. Study to show thyself approved. If you want to be in a lifestyle, then it's something you should spend a little time investigating, okay? I say that to all of you. Now, the reason that I say that here is you still need to be vetting who you're in a polyamorous relationship. I have a friend that lives in Atlanta, and she dated a couple, and she actually like spent time with them, and they were all intimate and all the things, right? But there was a vetting process that happened that the wife got to partake in. Did they want to bring in another partner? Now, this is something that my friend is an empath, but this was what she wanted. And my counsel to her was, I need you to make sure that you want to be connected to both of these humans if you're going to do this. All right, so polyamory is not your thing. You're just hooking up with someone casually. You feel like, he's not that into me, but the sex is crazy, but meaning, energetically you guys maybe aren't a compatible match outside of the bedroom, then that's something where you have to limit yourself. There is a threshold of how many times you can sleep with someone before you start to feel that falling feeling that we feel, which is really a chemical reaction, but it is happening and it's true. You have so many times before you cut it off. That's what you need to do, empath, to protect you. But what you cannot do is just kid yourself and say, oh, I can just sleep with him for a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. No, mama. Now you're all the way in there. Now you're totally in love, and now you're not walking away. And now you're in a toxic runner chaser dynamic where you're chasing somebody who is running because they know that you had your attention right away. Now that I've lectured you and pepowed all of our wrists, myself included, let's talk about this. What about when you vet someone and they're the right person for you, and then you want to sleep with them and that's what you want to do? Then of course do that, but don't think that you can pass yourself around and not have effects from that, empath. It is what it is. There are consequences for every action. And when I say pass around, I'm not talking about being your hoe about the town, because some people have a ministry for that. For some people's astrological charts, sex work is aspected, service industry work is aspected. Some people literally have that in their chart. So I've learned so much on my journey here with metaphysical practices, is to realize that we can't judge anybody. But empaths, we are not necessarily called to that. And unless that's specifically in your chart, that's going to tear your heart apart. There is a hardening of your energetic shell that you have to do. And even those people that are dedicated to sex work and that life, that are actually passing themselves around to make their money and to make their living, they talk about the crushing cold moments where parts of their soul died. Sweeties, we're so sensitive. We are not able to withstand that. So even a casual sexual connection that goes left or in our soul, or the person does not really want to abide, or they're not taking it seriously, it takes a toll. And that's why I say, no, mama, you can't just sleep with anybody. You can't just, quote unquote, I should have put that. You can't just sleep with them. You can do anything. You will pay a heavy price for multiple people. Now, here's the other message. Most people today, as we talked about polyamory and wanting to spread ourselves very thin and hookup culture, understand that if you're sleeping with one person, you as an empath might just be sleeping with them. And most of my empaths, I would say 90%, are pretty monogamous or a serial monogamous focus. So they're going to sleep with that one person. But here's the deal about that. Those other people, unless you vet them properly, may very well be sleeping with other people, even if they're not telling you. In my journey, I have experienced someone lying to me about what they were doing, but because my gift is the way it is and it works the way it does, I knew exactly when they were, what was happening. I knew the emotional connection that was there. There were material tells that happened in my physical presence. So I knew, even though they didn't know, I knew that there was a sexual connection and I was being affected by this other person's energy. So I tell you this story as a cautionary tale because it happened to me. And I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't, check it. This is why soul ties, which are talked about in the Bible, but energetic cord cutting and all that stuff, it's all the same thing we're talking about here, guys. This is why this matters, because I hadn't slept with that person in years and years and years. But because we had at one point slept together, we had an energetic connection where, because we were still emotionally connected, I could feel those things that she lied to my face about. And it affected us for a reason. Now, that wasn't a partnership in a traditional sense. So it was a friendship. However, complicated hashtag, y'all know, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of shenanigery we're not necessarily built for because it takes such a toll. My point in telling you this is that even though I hadn't slept with that person in years, I still was being deleteriously, negatively affected by who she was sleeping with, the many that she was dealing with, and one in particular that was like a nightmare. You do see what I'm saying here? So for those of you that get into third party situations in a more traditional sense, oh, someone didn't like that I said that, in a more traditional sense, meaning you've been in a relationship and someone cheated on you. You may have felt that before they ever admitted that to you because we are emotionally connected, and that's why you can't just sleep with them. So, and that is also going for someone who cheats on you. So if someone's cheating on you, like Rihanna says, and you want to get back with them, and like Rihanna did with Chris Brown at one point, I talked about this in my previous video I just put up here earlier, then what will happen is you're going to be dealing with an emotional breakdown because you're going to be dealing with whomever they're dealing with, that person's emotions. Empath, we are literally a telephone. We hear everything. Now, I don't know how your gift works. There's clear audience, clear sentience, clear cognizance. I have a multiplicity of those giftings, and I literally can hear people talking. I can hear the conversations that they're having and the thoughts. It's like one of those movies. Truly, that's how my gifting works. So if someone's looking in my face and they're lying to me, I know exactly what they're actually saying behind the scenes. It's made people very uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable until I realized that's one of our superpowers. Okay. And everybody gets their gifts. Some people sense it or feel it. That's clear sentience, right? Clear audience. I hear it. I actually hear it. Now, the reason that I say this is we have to discern who it is worth us putting our energy with. Okay. I want you to turn on all of your senses when you're really horny and want to hook up with somebody. Do they have what it takes to be vetted for you to hook up with them? And it's okay if it doesn't pan out to a relationship. I'm realistic again, but they have to at least be a solid human. Does that make sense? For those of you that watch The Girls, you know the relationship that Lena Dunham has with Adam Driver, which I don't know their names on the show, but whatever. That's not the relationship you want. Yes, she got a relationship out of him, but you saw what happened. She was an empath who dealt with a lot of his bullshit, was not getting proper connection, was not getting good sexual connection from him until she learned how to speak up for herself. That's a lot of us. So parrot yourself there and see that. You may not be Lena Dunham exactly, but the energy of that is the empathetic nature where we overgive to a connection, and something that we think is just going to be sex, we try to turn into a relationship. And it is so detrimental for us. Also, last message here. If you, excuse me, guys. Oh, last message here. If you are hooking up with people, If you are hooking up with people, God, my angels are stopping me. They're like, nah, there's no if you are. It really has to be more serious to one person and it really needs to be vetted. I don't even know that an empath can manage multiple people. We balance things well, but it causes imbalances in us to be attached to too many people unless you have boundaries, right? So I can have an emotional connection with somebody that I might not have with somebody else, and so there is a boundary there. One partner may be fulfilling this part, or one connection or friendship may be fulfilling another. Does that make sense? That's what I want you to understand. If you have overlapping, unless that's your aim, polyamory, and you're purposeful and you're integral about it, that's one thing. But if it's just effery, it's gonna so catch up to thee. And I do not want it to catch up to thee. I want you guys to be empowered, and you the promise of this is if you vet somebody properly when it is time for you to come into union, it's so much better, guys. Oh my God. It's so much better. It's mind blowingly better to be in union with somebody that actually is invested on some level with you. Again, in today's world, I don't expect them to be invested and be wanting to marry you. That's not realistic for today's world. But you do need to at least get some depth of level of, you want a medium grade level of investment. You want to be able to vet them properly, and you want to know that you're not dealing with a total D-bag and wasting your time. Because when you share your energy with someone else, you make them divine empath, divine feminine. That's what happens. We bless people with our energy. They siphon it from us. And that's why you have to protect it. If you want to share sexual energy with somebody, you are making magic. And that means some part of their life will be affected, and so will some part of yours. If you are the higher magician in that, if you are the high priestess, if you are the empress, if you are the empath, if you're the light worker, if you're the light activator, if you're the earth angel, you will only boy lift and bless their life, while they will suck life out of you as you find yourself spiraling and wondering and comparing yourself and doing all the crazy things that we all as women have found ourselves doing, and men found ourselves doing, when we are next to someone that we didn't properly vet, and we're an empath and somehow we forgot that that was our gift and we gave ourselves away. So now their life is magical. They're dating wonderfully many other people, and they've left you to kind of be in your own juices to stew. And you're thinking, how did I get here? It's because you didn't vet properly, but also you thought, I can just do this. You're not like everybody else, empath. I'm your mom here tonight. Let me just be your mom if you didn't have one. And if you did have one, no, I don't care if Jimmy jumps off the bridge. Empath, you don't jump off the bridge. Have sex, have a good sexual, healthy connection with yourself. Have a partner that you do feel like you can connect with, but don't just make it a random. You're not a Drake song. That's not how we live our life. We sing those songs for motivation, but you're not going to sleep with everybody that catches your eye and fancy. And you have to harden yourself to do that. Even our old OVO XO lover, Drake over there, is a big softy and a baby and kind of a romantic at heart. But yeah, he's playing the I'm a rock star musician rapper part. But there's an emo side of him, and we hear it in his music. But he still has to close off a part of his soul. He talks about it all the time, his soul being cold, in order to embody that person that is highly promiscuous in that way. And he's a full empath himself, no matter what he has to say. He's not writing like that without being that. Anyway, back to you. You get to have your sex too, but it cannot be with everybody that wants to do you. It has to be with a certain few. And then you can raise the vibration and push your sex to higher levels and really connect, even if it's a companionship, which I've counseled people through as well, where it's just a long-term sexual companionship that they agree to, or an emotional companionship if it's not sexual. But the point is, you can't just do what everybody else does, sweet peas. No, no. Because as you know, it will bring you emotionally to your needs while they are out propagating like bees. You hear me? Message. I love you guys so much. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to, let's see here, evolve together. I'm gonna go through the messages here. I did get a few. Oh wow, I got a few messages. Okay. Oh wow. Let's see here. Just got here, Allie. I'm like drugging with this. I had a funny poem idea last night. Hey, I really like you, so I stalked you, and then I fell in love with you with all your exes, and none of us want to talk to you. Hilarious. Something like that. Dealing with. No worries. ESP. Yes, 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 yes. Girl, it's hard because they suck. We can't We feel too much. It's difficult. I almost kind of met a sugar daddy because it's like, oh, I have no feelings and I'm not really attracted, but I don't need money, so it's still not worth it. Like a sweet good guy combo. We totally would get along, but I'm not attracted like that. So yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, you can see through and it's too much. Yes, Cleopatra did abuse her sexual power with men. She was quite powerful. She was quite powerful. Yeah, but Cleopatra had also closed off a part of her soul. Cleopatra was a uh puppeteer. She was Machiavellian. She literally brought down empires repeatedly and dealt with the two most powerful men in her time. So Cleopatra, in order to do that, you have to have a certain level of coldness to you. I don't know that Cleopatra was an empath. She was a strategist. I will say that. It is such a loaded topic. Adam Driver. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, have you seen Seeking Sister Wife on TLC? I like that show. My favorite couple had all these. Yeah, no, I haven't. I did watch one of the Sister Wives things, and then like the story I just told, someone tried to make me a sister wife without my permission, which was hilarious. Um, this is such a loaded topic. Don't do it. Yeah, hold on 1 second. I don't want anyone to need to fill other parts right after I'd be alone and deal with that. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, you're welcome, Carolyn. Hi, Meek Meek. All right, guys. So Carolyn just had a really good discourse. I can't see the messages when I post the live, but I can see them here. So I just wanted to go through. Good point made about Cleopatra, but again, Cleopatra was a strategist. Cleopatra was not a melty, sweet empath that was yummy and emotional. Okay, I'll have to check it out, Allie. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So that is a message for tonight. What I'm going to do is jump off here, get a refreshment, something to drink, and then I think I have one more thing in me before I'm going to go to bed. All right. So good spending some time with you. We will evolve in a moment together.